Right into another round. Round two, guys. So another debate this time with a little bit of a twist compared to the first one. Now we're going to get to that twist in just a little bit, but it's pretty clear that Donald Trump knows what he's getting. He knows what he's doing. He's really very calculated here. This is like a chess move. And I feel like Joe Biden's about to walk right into Donald Trump's trap. I'm going to break that down for you guys in just a second. If you haven't already, do take a second, hit the like button for the video. I really appreciate you guys subscribing and sharing the videos. You guys are awesome. But the entire country saw President Joe Biden and his weakness in that CNN debate. Nobody's going to argue that. And it looks like the former president is coming in to basically end this thing once and for all. A lot of people believe, and let me know if you guys agree, that Donald Trump is literally about to put the final nail in Joe Biden's coffin. Now, analysts believe that the American people, they're seeing the same thing. And Joe Biden, he's getting desperate. Did you guys see what Joe Biden has done in the black churches lately? I mean, like Joe Biden is literally getting so desperate. He's going to all of these different black congressmen. He's attending all of these different black events. And what he did most recently inside of a black church was unbelievable. If you guys saw that. Anyway, but the damage that has been done to our country has literally gotten to a point where changes need to be made, guys. And I think a lot of you guys are seeing this. And, you know, some people are actually saying that these changes need to be made in California as soon as possible. Governor Gavin Newsom of California, many people recognize him as being Nancy Pelosi's nephew. So anyway, Governor Gavin Newsom has showed his support for the president, even though we all know what his real goal is inside of the presidency. He wants to be the next president of the United States. But I mean, if we just take his goal of taking in millions of illegal immigrants and providing them with all of these benefits, I mean, this is one goal. Benefits that a lot of people are upset about. Benefits that even those on Social Security and our homeless veterans don't even have access to. How screwed up is that? You're going to give our benefits, our paid taxpayer benefits, and just give them to illegals? Is that fair to you guys? And this is why a lot of people are angry today. I mean, this was further proven when El Cajun Mayor Bill Wells discussed the issues that he's seen in his area. He says that California is putting way too much into these people, and they're forgetting about the U.S. citizens. He talked about how crazy it is that American taxpayer money is being used to fund illegal aliens. And, you know, obviously don't take my word for it. I'm going to let you guys hear directly from him. And this is something that he says something has to be done about this. So here's what he said in an interview from just a couple days ago. Take a listen.
Invited a group of border city mayors to President Biden's immigration announcement. The mayor of El Cajon, California, Bill Wells, joins me now. You were not invited, Sheriff, to the White House. Is there a reason for that?
You know, I think my invitation probably got lost in the mail because I can't imagine why he wouldn't want me there.
Right.
You know, the truth is I've been pretty critical of the Biden administration. I mean, being on the border in California, it's hard not to be critical. We've got about 1,500 people a day crossing. We've had 150,000 cross since October, and that's pretty significant. You know, it's hard to kind of quantify what that really looks like. But in a city of 3 million people, that's a lot of people.
What do you think of the president's border actions? Are they going to be effective? I mean, they've just announced yesterday. I found them complicated and very difficult to understand. How about you?
Well, I think they're intentionally complicated. You know, the truth is, I think obviously it's pretty hard not to see that this is an election ploy. And I don't want to say that I'm not welcoming of some reform on this. You know, I certainly am. But without more Border Patrol agents and without releasing those Border Patrol agents to actually stop illegal immigration across the border, we're just changing the venue. The cartels run the show. And, you know, I've been out to the border at night. You saw that video from Bill Maloogian of hundreds of people coming across in the dead of night. That's way out in the middle of nowhere in the country. And our Border Patrol agents are told not to even try to stop them. So the cartels are just going to continue their billion-dollar business. And instead of having them come over and present themselves for asylum, they're just going to sneak across every night. I don't think it's going to change a single thing.
Now you're in San Diego County, and San Diego itself is once again a top entry point for migrants. More than 222,000 crossed the border since October the 1st. Those are official numbers. Why is San Diego an epicenter of migration?
I think it's because California is such a woke state, and I think California has a sanctuary state policy where we're just not going to try to stop people at all. And, in fact, like you mentioned that there's a new bill trying to give state jobs to illegal aliens. Well, they already get free health care. We have a bill that says that if you are an illegal alien, you can get 20% down on a house, which our own citizens don't get.
What?
You can even have a sex change operation.
Wait a second. Your Honor. The state of California, using taxpayers' money, will give 20% down payments to illegal migrants to buy a home. Did I hear that right?
You did. And what they're going to tell you is, it's no big deal because when they sell the house eventually, they're going to have to pay the state back.
What?
But the question is, my kids are having trouble staying in California because of the cost of housing. They can't come up with the $300,000 down they need for a house.
Unbelievable.
So I think this is pretty ubiquitous.
Your Honor, thanks very much for coming on the show. And
guys, just think about this for a second here. You have illegal aliens coming into the state. I mean, cost of living. Let me know if the cost of living is cheap for you guys. Great. But the cost of living for a lot of people is very, very expensive, is very high. Now, just think about how much more expensive cost of living is going to be when most people are struggling to come up with a down payment for a home. But the government wants to give illegal aliens, $200,000-$300,000 for down payments on a house. Just know that whenever you subsidize any kind of cost, look at college education, how expensive it is, right? Anytime you can subsidize costs or expenses, those tend to go up. So if you think cost of living, rent, mortgages, the price of real estate and homes is expensive today, just expect all of that to skyrocket as California is giving $200,000 to $300,000 down payments to illegal aliens or illegal migrants. I mean, it's just crazy. Quick shout out and thank you to where are you? I just saw you. Where were you? Sorry. Jacob Bartlett. Appreciate the Big Ten, my friend. Jacob Bartlett says, Ron, I say Gavin is supporting Biden so Trump will win and he could be president for 8 consecutive years after Trump. Wow, Jacob. I appreciate that. Fed Up Patriot, thank you so much for the Big Ten super chat. Fed Up Patriot says, in Congress, both sides of the aisle are letting down the American people. There is so much corruption in our government that anyone could imagine. That's what Trump means by the swamp. I think that's exactly what he means by the swamp and how he plans on draining it. Appreciate you guys, your comments, your super chats. Appreciate all the new members to the channel, all you guys hitting the join button. And thanks so much for subscribing to the channel, guys. We're hitting 563,000 subscribers. Our goal is 600,000 subscribers. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Anyway, but before we get to anything any further, guys, did any of you guys get any money to pay off 20% of your house's down payment? I'm just curious because I didn't get 20% down. I didn't get $200,000 to $300,000 to help me with a down payment. I'm just wondering, was I the only one that got left out? Because I didn't get any of that money that they're handing out. Mine also must have gotten lost in the mail. Anyway, Americans are not getting this sort of treatment. And this is what the Biden administration supports. They support giving to everybody else but us. Everyone else, Ukraine, illegal folks coming across the border, a fact that Donald Trump blasted him for in the recent debate on CNN. Now, if you asked any of the critics out there, the former president didn't do enough to push the issue on President Biden. And I probably have to agree with that. I think Donald Trump could have definitely really dug deep into Biden during the debate about that particular subject, because a lot of people are not happy about that. But maybe Donald Trump's plan is to hit that pretty hard on round 2, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit, because we know that illegals, they're getting benefits, but To hear it to this extent is crazy. Did you hear that they're getting free sex changes? Like, I'm not pro any of that. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying when you look at how much free stuff they're getting, it's unbelievable. Free healthcare, free housing, $200,000 to $300,000 down for to be able to buy real estate. Why are you buying real estate when you're not even here legally? Unbelievable. I mean, they're just giving the country away. I mean, not only are they selling so much real estate to China, but it's like, hey, here's free money and here's a free house here in the United States for anyone who comes across illegally. We'll take care of you. Just come on in. What do y'all think? Now, in another interview, Mayor Wells talked about the county of San Diego spending $6 million to create a migrant welcome center. Why are they doing that? That's the real question. They also put families up in hotels, which cost taxpayers about $8,000 to $10,000 per month per family. That, and of course, let's not forget about the free college education. A lot of people can't even afford to go to community college, but these folks can come on in, get free housing, get free education, college education. They're going to make more money than you do. That's ultimately what Biden wants to happen. He wants these folks to come on in and make more money than naturalized or legalized American citizens do. But this issue could be a focal point for Donald Trump in his second debate with President Joe Biden. Donald Trump laid down the gauntlet recently and said that if Biden wants to redeem himself from that one bad debate, well, his lines are open. But of course, there is a catch. Donald Trump requested a no-holds-barred discussion with Joe Biden about the future of our country. In a post on Truth Social, the former president called out Joe Biden. He wants the president to explain everything that he's done while he's been in office. He wants him to explain the open borders. He wants Biden to explain why he wants millions of illegal immigrants to come into the country. So, some of which are violent criminals that got inside the United States unvetted. He wants to understand the logic behind pushing for an all-electric society within just the next 5 years. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So Trump's got a pretty high criteria for this next debate. And Biden, he's fallen down. He's fallen on his back. And now he really needs to redeem himself. Donald Trump's also pretty eager to discuss inflation amongst many other things that are on his mind. So my question to you guys is, do you agree that these are issues that are relevant to Americans across the nation? Quick shout out to Cowboy Rob. Appreciate the big five, my friend, for the super chat. Every Fed prosecutor should be assigned 20 Fed employees, including Congress, and investigate for corruption under Trump to make sure that they are all good. Appreciate your comment, Cowboy Rob. Appreciate you, man. President Joe Biden is widely regarded to have lost the first debate with Donald Trump. Anybody think that Joe Biden beat Donald Trump in the debate? Or is it just a general consensus that Donald Trump clobbered that dude during the CNN debate? Let me know, guys. But many critics are saying that he lost in such, he didn't just lose, but he lost in such an embarrassing way that his campaign is working overtime, making up all sorts of excuses. Jill Biden comes out, "Oh, Joe, you did such a good job answering the questions. Oh, you went potty. I'm so proud of you." But seriously, guys, some political analysts have said that Donald Trump handled this debate perfectly. This is what they're saying. This is not my opinion. He pretty much let Biden make all the mistakes and was a little bit more reserved than usual. Donald Trump's typically a little bit more aggressive, but he was pretty reserved in that debate. And what was it? Not Art of the Deal. Basically, there's this old Asian quote that basically says, "When your enemy is making mistakes, don't interrupt them." And I'm paraphrasing, but this was perfectly executed. Donald Trump watched Joe Biden making all sorts of mistakes during the CNN debate. So for Donald Trump to be less aggressive, that was the right move to make. Don't interrupt your enemy when he's screwing up. Let him keep going. That's what happened, guys, which kind of highlighted the very clear, at one point, not so well known, but now very well known cognitive issues that President Biden has. The media was trying to cover this up for years. I mean, we've been talking about this for who knows, God knows how long, that Biden had these different cognitive issues, and they've been accelerating. But, I mean, it was on their platform. Biden's team wanted to be on CNN. Hey, I mean, CNN is known for being pro Biden, very left leaning media news outlet. A lot of people say that, there's a lot of lies being told on the station. I forget the nickname that people give CNN. It's like, I forget what people say that CNN actually stands for, but you guys probably know. But anyway, so Biden, he got what he wanted. He had the debate on CNN, basically home court advantage, and still lost it. And there's so many viral videos that have been made off of different pieces of the debate. It's just unbelievable. I mean, this was the worst performance that we've probably ever had in the history of presidential debates. And Joe Biden has been nothing more than laughingstock ever since. And surprisingly enough, it's like, yo, man, like your wife, Joe Biden, she doesn't even have like your best interest at heart. She's over here, taking Vogue magazine photo shoots. Meanwhile, her husband is like getting embarrassed on a national platform. And beyond national, it's really a worldwide platform. It's like, man, like I understand why people are calling Joe Biden a monster, because she just letting her, like, for all of you married folks, for you guys who are in relationships, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, would you let your spouse embarrass themselves like that? Or would you be like, hey, let's exit stage left? Like, the level of embarrassment she is setting her husband up for is unbelievable. He is the laughing stock. He's frail. He's brittle. He's falling apart. It's a very, very embarrassing, scary situation to know that this is the leader of the free world. Who's he leading? He's not leading anyone. And then you got his crackhead son attending all these different meetings with President Joe Biden, high-level meetings. Who knows what this crackhead is doing with this information that he should not have access to? I mean, does he have access to the nuclear codes too? I mean, like, where do they draw the line here, right? Which also kind of highlights this debate, it really, really highlighted the cognitive issues, the mental decline, the dementia that we've all known that Joe Biden is suffering from and continues to suffer from. This was not some single episode. He is now out of control, laughing stock, just like Damon Bowman just said, right? Now, White House Chief of Staff Jeff Zients was reported to have called an all-staff meeting recently so that they can discuss their steps forward. Quick shout out to Heather has issues. Heather, I'm sure you don't have issues. Well, I mean, we all do. So maybe you do. I don't know. But Heather has issues. Appreciate the big 20 super chat. I love your show. Thank you so much, Heather. You are awesome. But yeah, so White House Chief of Staff Jeff Zients was reported to have called an all-staff meeting recently so that they can discuss their steps forward and for team members to tune out what they refer to as what they call noise. All right, tune out the noise. The noise we're talking about here is the call for essentially for President Biden to hang up the gloves and let somebody else lead. The big issue there is that most Democrats don't feel too comfortable having Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, as the commander in chief. So I'm going to ask you guys, we're live right now. Do you keep Biden as the president, or do you pull in Vice President Kamala Harris as the commander in chief to take over? Are we better off in Biden's hands, or will we be better off in Kamala Harris's hands? Let me know. If you think it's Biden, type in Biden. If you think it's Kamala Harris, type in Kamala Harris, or just Harris in the comments, either or. But yeah. Oh, and did you guys hear about? I don't know if Brenda is watching the show. But somebody, I've been getting a lot of messages from people asking about what's really going on with President Biden. There was a medical emergency that allegedly took place on an aircraft. Did you guys hear about that medical emergency on Air Force One? And the last that I was seeing about this was they're trying to say that this is a 100% false. I mean, if you look at the Associated Press, and let me know if you guys even believe this, or is this like just like fake news? According to the Associated Press, online reports falsely claim President Joe Biden suffered a medical emergency on Air Force One. This is what they're saying. Again, Associated Press, so take it for what it's worth. False reports that President Joe Biden had a medical emergency while traveling back to Delaware on Friday, on Friday after a campaign stop in Wisconsin spread widely on social media on Friday. So according to AP's assessment, they're saying that this is not true. There were no signs of a medical emergency on the flight, according to an Associated Press reporter who was traveling with Joe Biden. Air Force One arrived at Delaware Air National Guard Base in Newcastle, Delaware at 7:22 p.m. The president exited the plane on his own, saluted, and spoke with an officer at the base of the stairs and took a question from a reporter before leaving the airport. Now, here's another thing. Some people are saying, was this really Biden that got off the Air Force One airplane, or was this Biden's clone? I don't know, guys. It might have been the real Biden. It might have been his clone. The guy who doesn't blink for like 49 seconds in a row. I don't know. He's got like some amazing pupils. That dude, I don't know, like how he manages to like have so much moisture in his eyes. He don't need to blink. Absolutely. I don't know if he practiced that or what. So it says here the facts. As Biden returned to his home in Wilmington, Delaware after a campaign stop in Madison, Wisconsin on Friday, social media users falsely claimed that President Biden had suffered a medical emergency aboard Air Force One. But the thing is like, where does this come from, right? Does somebody just like wake up and be like, you know what? I'm going to make up a lie that, Joe Biden had a medical emergency on Air Force One. Like, who does that? And the thing is like anytime you have like these rumors, the rumors generally are based off of, at a minimum, some truth. Rarely are rumors started with no basis. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, on another X post, quote, Joe Biden is reportedly having a medical emergency on Air Force One right now. Press access has been removed. End quote, it had received approximately 15,000 likes and 10,900 shares on Saturday morning. So this was a post that was on, I guess maybe this was the post that kind of like got everything started, got everybody talking about stuff. I don't know if that was the original post or not, but this is what they were saying on X. But again, there is a video of Joe Biden walking down the stairs at Air Force One in Delaware after, being in Wisconsin, and he spoke to reporters. So I don't know, maybe he's fine. Maybe this was his clone. I don't really know. But that's what we know so far. Anyway, Kamala Harris, though, she has defended the president basically in multiple endless speaking engagement. Although Kamala Harris also tried to make the case for herself and how she would function as a possible replacement in her own words, Harris said that character matters more than style. Okay, don't take any offense to that, Gavin Newsom, if you're listening. Remember, character matters more than style, according to Kamala Harris. Anyway, that is if we're talking about a real leader, according to her. Now, you have to wonder, is she talking about herself, or is she talking about Biden, or is she talking about Gavin Newsom at this point? Like, I don't know. Would you support the White House with Harris in it? Like, seriously, guys, I'm just curious. Would you support it if Kamala Harris was the president? Which kind of reminds me of a previous video I did that's kind of scaring a lot of Democrats right now. Donald Trump's immunity case that has turned the tables on the White House, guys. Donald Trump's about to walk away as a free man. That's what I think is going to happen. All of these cases that seemingly were, from depending on who you listen to, if you listen to MSNBC and CNN and all these other different news stations, you would have been convinced that these legal cases against Donald Trump were getting the best of him. But it looks like Donald Trump may very well be walking away as a free man. Lots more to share with you guys on that one. I did a video on that one, so I'm going to make sure to try to remember to leave a link for you guys for you to check that out in the description down below. If I don't remember, just go to the channel, go to my channel and look for that video so you can check it out. But yeah, and so now the former president, coming into November with a huge wave of momentum. What do you think about Donald Trump's momentum right now, guys? I mean, this guy, he's been getting a lot of wins, and it's funny how Trump's not in the media as much as before, and now it's like a lot more Biden in the media, but it's all like negative stuff. It's like either Biden's going to get replaced, Biden's he's going to drop out. Biden did horrible in the CNN debate. Oh my God, what's Biden going to do for the round 2 of the next debate that's coming up here? I mean, none of this is good news. None of this is good news. Then there's the medical emergency on Air Force One rumor. I mean, Biden's taken L after L, loss after loss. But anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Thanks so much for hitting the like button. Thank you for subscribing and sharing these videos. You guys are the best. Yeah. So appreciate y'all. Happy Sunday.